Los Angeles, California, during the sweltering summer of 1967, hosted one of the most remarkable episodes in martial arts history, a convergence of skill, ego, and profound insight that would forever alter the trajectories of those involved. At the center of the story was Joe Louis, the towering national karate champion, standing 6'3" and weighing roughly 210 pounds of solid muscle, boasting an undefeated streak of 32 consecutive victories in sanctioned tournaments across the United States. A man whose reputation for explosive power and precise strikes was unmatched at the time, whose sidekick alone had left numerous opponents unconscious on the mats. A figure whose confidence in his abilities was reinforced by decades of rigorous training in traditional karate, and whose ego had grown in parallel with the accolades he had amassed, leading him to publicly declare in an interview with a leading martial arts magazine that he was faster and more powerful than Bruce Lee, the then emerging Chinese martial artist and instructor who had begun attracting attention in Hollywood circles not for competitive accolades but for revolutionary approaches to combat, blending fluidity, speed, and efficiency into a system he termed Jeet Kune Do, a philosophy grounded not in rigid adherence to tradition, but in the adaptability and direct application of techniques suited to the realities of actual encounters, a system that emphasized economy of motion, awareness, and timing over brute force or ornamental performance, a method designed to exploit inefficiencies and telegraphed movements in an opponent's attacks. And when Louis dismissed Lee as merely a showman performing for the cameras, claiming that in a real confrontation he would incapacitate him in under 30 seconds, the remark spread rapidly through the martial arts community, sparking curiosity, anticipation, and skepticism in equal measure, as Bruce Lee, informed of the statement by one of his students at his modest Chinatown gym, received the news not with anger, but with quiet amusement, folding the magazine article without comment and asserting simply that words were wind and that truth in combat could only be demonstrated through action. That same afternoon, Lee made the unprecedented decision to reach out directly to the gym where Louis trained, placing a call that was brief but laden with intent, extending an invitation for the champion to visit his facility for a collaborative training session, not as a challenge or provocation, but as an opportunity for mutual learning. A proposal that Louis interpreted through the lens of ego, assuming that the invitation was either an acknowledgement of his superiority or a request for validation, prompting him to accept without hesitation and anticipating a demonstration that would reinforce his public claims. And thus, on the appointed Saturday afternoon, under the oppressive heat characteristic of Southern California's summers, Louis arrived at Bruce Lee's gym, a second-story facility in a nondescript building, devoid of the luxury mirrors and polished floors common in larger commercial gyms, featuring instead a simple wooden floor, heavy bags, basic training implements, and a sparse yet functional arrangement that reflected Lee's pragmatic approach to practice. Accompanied by 3 loyal students, Louis entered wearing a pristine, starched white karate gi and a black belt meticulously tied, every gesture radiating confidence and authority, projecting the image of an undefeated champion accustomed to domination. While Lee stood barefoot at the center of the room, dressed in unassuming black trousers, his torso revealing a compact, defined musculature that contrasted with Louis's bulk but indicated a mastery of efficiency and core strength. Surrounded by approximately 15 observers, including Lee's students, local instructors, and intrigued onlookers, as the two men greeted each other with formal respect,
Lewis's handshake firm, perhaps overly so, attempting to assert physical dominance from the outset, and Bruce, maintaining his trademark calm, proposed they begin with a simple exercise. Lewis would deliver a single strike at full speed and power, while Lee would only evade, refraining from counterattacks. And when Lewis lunged forward with his expertly trained lightning-fast punch designed to incapacitate opponents instantly, the outcome defied his expectations entirely, as Lee moved with an almost imperceptible lateral shift, allowing the fist to pass harmlessly through the air, and in the same fluid motion positioned his hand mere centimeters to Lewis's throat, a silent yet unmistakable indication of the vulnerability that Lewis had exposed in himself, a moment that shattered the champion's preconceived notions and forced him to confront the limits of his technique. Even as Lewis attempted subsequent combinations, including jab, straight, and hook sequences, each executed with the precision and power honed over years of disciplined training, Lee's movements remained a seamless dance around the attacks, his hands appearing at critical points such as the throat, solar plexus, and jaw, never making contact but sending a message of absolute clarity regarding the perils of predictable motion. And when he finally paused to explain, Lee's tone was devoid of mockery, instead embodying the patience and clarity of a teacher intent on imparting knowledge, illustrating that Lewis telegraphed each strike through subtle cues in shoulder tension, hip alignment, gaze, and posture, and that his physical perfection, which had been cultivated to generate maximum force, had ironically become a constraint as adherence to rigid patterns in traditional karate limited adaptability and rendered even the fastest strikes susceptible to evasion by a practitioner attuned to subtle signals.
Lee then proceeded to demonstrate the 1-inch punch on a 150-pound heavy bag positioned less than 2 centimeters away, delivering a strike without preparatory motion, relying on precise energy transfer from the entire body, resulting in an explosive impact that belied both distance and apparent effort, a demonstration that highlighted the principles of economy, alignment, timing, and kinetic connection fundamental to Jeet Kune Do, principles that emphasized efficient power without unnecessary movement. And over the next 2 hours, Lee guided Lewis through practical exercises focused on eliminating superfluous motions, increasing responsiveness, and enhancing the intuitive perception of openings and vulnerabilities, a session that was not characterized by humiliation or ego, but by the methodical sharing of insight, allowing Lewis to experience firsthand how traditional forms, while effective within their own context, could limit creativity and responsiveness in unpredictable encounters. And throughout the training, Lewis absorbed lessons with a newfound humility, recognizing that technical proficiency alone was insufficient to achieve mastery. And as the session concluded, Lee's acknowledgement of Lewis's extraordinary capabilities reinforced the notion that true strength encompasses both skill and openness to continuous learning, leading to Lewis's decision to continue training under Lee's guidance, marking the inception of one of the earliest and most significant student-teacher relationships in martial arts history, an association in which Lewis evolved from a powerful, conventional karate champion into a more complete martial artist, capable of integrating speed, technique, awareness, and adaptability at an unprecedented level. And in retrospective interviews, Lewis reflected on the experience as a pivotal moment, recognizing that Lee's insight into combat principles, focus on efficiency, and understanding of human movement transcended conventional measures of skill, illustrating that greatness in martial arts is not defined by victory alone, but by the capacity to perceive, learn, and adapt continuously, a lesson that reverberates in martial arts circles to this day, underscoring the enduring truth that even the most accomplished practitioners must remain students of their craft, embracing humility, observation, and the relentless pursuit of improvement, and that the encounter between Lewis and Lee serves not as a tale of defeat, but as a testament to the transformative power of respect, mentorship, and the application of knowledge, revealing the profound difference between being merely talented and achieving enduring mastery, demonstrating that true martial arts excellence lies not in ego or showmanship, but in the integration of mind, body, and spirit to act decisively, efficiently, and with clarity in the face of any challenge, a lesson applicable not only in combat, but in life itself. And the legacy of that afternoon continues to inspire practitioners worldwide, highlighting the value of humility, continuous learning, and the courage to confront one's limitations, ensuring that the stories of Joe Louis and Bruce Lee remain emblematic of the highest ideals in martial arts history, and affirming that mastery is measured not by the accumulation of victories or accolades, but by the capacity to grow, evolve, and empower others through knowledge, as evidenced by the enduring influence of Lee's teaching methods on Lewis's subsequent career, the evolution of martial arts pedagogy, and the broader understanding that physical power and technical skill, when combined with perception, adaptability, and humility, create a foundation for excellence that surpasses conventional metrics, providing a timeless blueprint for aspiring martial artists and demonstrating that the path of learning is infinite and that the most meaningful victories are those achieved not over others, but over oneself, as demonstrated in the legendary afternoon when a champion met a master and a lifetime of lessons was imparted in mere hours, leaving an endearing legacy that continues to shape the philosophy, practice, and spirit of martial arts around the world.